Godzilla Singular Point ends with an incredible and an explosive episode. It's a culmination of all the scientific theories and mysteries. Finally, lots of explanations are given. The catastrophe is about to start. Main and Yoon are at the climax of their research results. It is a very fascinating episode that I watched twice. There is a lot to take in from Jet Jaguar and Peril 2. As the catastrophe builds up, Salunga appears to be unstoppable and even appears to kill Tilda, the woman with the strange eyes. It goes on to break into where May is and attacks Shiva. May, who doesn't even seem to be concerned with the danger going on in front of her, continues to work with Peril 2 in finding the code. Peril 2 itself goes through an interesting journey of what looks like data time travel with an unfinished work of the so-called mad scientist Asihara. Peril 2 goes on to see that there is no code. Eventually, Peril 2 is cut off from May, but continues to look for the solution. Salunga has caused massive damage now, and the group has to evacuate. Elsewhere, Yoon, Jet Jaguar, and the others are fast approaching Godzilla. They, with help of the army, manage to fight off several of the Radon before splitting up. Yoon buckles up on Jet Jaguar, who can fly now, but the price was high as Habiru had to help Jet Jaguar, who was struggling at first to take off. He and Goru appear to fall to their doom while on the truck as it plummets into the city. Despite that big fall, they somehow survived in the end. Yoon and Jet Jaguar make it to Godzilla, and Yoon eagerly awaits the code. Once they are on the giant monster, it appears there are smaller monsters on Godzilla which attack Yoon. He jumps off to catch his bag after it falls, and sees that no code has been found as he plummets. Fortunately, Jet Jaguar manages to catch him, and they both end up landing harshly on the floor. Back to May, what goes on here starts to get even more complicated. I never really understood the science most of the time, but after struggling to piece together some of it from all the other episodes, at least a bit more was understood this time. As I stated before, while Salunga was attacking Shiva, Peril 2 discovered work that Asihara hadn't finished. May immediately thinks this is what will bring about the code. As a result, Peril 2 uses what looks like data time travel to figure it out, but it doesn't reveal any code. Suddenly, that song begins playing. That song. May immediately tells Peril 2 to look at it, as something has to be hidden within it. Unfortunately, Peril 2 loses communication with May here. This leads to Peril 2 realizing afterwards that this triggered Yoon's Jet Jaguar program that was meant to make it invincible. Jet Jaguar later reveals that this also involved time travel until the mecha was strong enough to defeat Godzilla and to rid the red dust from the world. Jet Jaguar Peril 2 was the code and the answers all along. I could be wrong here in missing details, as it's only a theory or theories, but there are still mysteries surrounding this. But the culmination of all this allows the following. Looking defeated and at the end of his rope, Yoon loses Jet Jaguar and is left alone with Godzilla. I think Godzilla has to be aware of Yoon and what he has been doing. Godzilla prepares to fire the beam at the tiny human, but is stopped by a giant Jet Jaguar. They fight as Jet Jaguar tells Yoon that its memories came back and reveals a plan of that his AI had made to stop the catastrophe. Tragically, Godzilla is landing heavy damage and even blows off half of Jet Jaguar's head with an energy blast. Jet Jaguar tells Yoon its goodbyes before being impaled by another heavy energy blast from Godzilla. And this provokes the last plan of the AI, which causes the whole red mist to disappear and solidify. All over the world, I'm assuming. Yoon just looks on. At the end, Yoon and May finally meet, though it's not much more than a wave and a smile. The AI who is narrating now says the story has just begun. After the credits, Asihara is still alive and had used the skeleton from throughout the series to build what looks like Mecha Godzilla. The series ends, leaving the possibility of a second season set and ready. Overall, this was a very enjoyable show, though I knew nearly nothing of the science. But it was fun piecing together what I could and trying to put two and two together. It had amusing fights and dramatic developments amongst the humans themselves. The music was alright, but I did like the opening a lot. Goro was a great and funny character who was the life of the series. I'm sure there will be more of Godzilla Singular Point to come, maybe even if it's just a movie. Well, I think the tragedy is that most people are just going to complain about the science and the lack of monster fighting. It just shows they haven't watched much Godzilla. Thank you for watching.